next number, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Just a couple of notes about that. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow is perhaps familiar to you. One of the most famous stories from early America. The author, Washington Irving, was America's first #1 bestseller and international bestseller, and probably has the distinction of being the most successful short story writer to have ever served as American ambassador to Spain. The story of Sleepy Hollow, as I say, perhaps familiar, the famous Headless Horseman. We're going to tell this story in music and narration. The hero of the story, Ichabod Crane, is a schoolmaster whose specialty is teaching music, and he teaches the children out of a psalm book that he carries with him. He has very few possessions, but he rides from town to town doing his itinerant teaching. It was the very witching time of night that Ichabod, heavy-hearted and crestfallen, pursued his travel homewards, along the sides of the lofty hills which rise above Tarrytown, and which he had traversed so cheerily in the afternoon. The hour was as dismal as himself. All the stories of ghosts and goblins that he had heard in the afternoon now came crowding upon his recollection. The night grew darker and darker. As Ichabod approached a fearful tree, he began to whistle. He thought his whistle was answered. It was but a blast sweeping sharply through the dry branches. As he approached a little nearer, he thought he saw something white hanging in the midst of the tree. He paused and ceased whistling. Suddenly he heard a groan. As he approached the stream, his heart began to thump. He summoned up all his resolution, gave his horse half a score of kicks in the ribs, and attempted to dash briskly across the bridge. But the horse came to a stand just by the crossing, with a sudden nearly sent his rider sprawling over his head. At this moment, a plashy tramp caught the ear of Ichabod. In the dark shadow of the grove, he beheld something huge, misshapen, black, and towering. Shutting his eyes, he broke forth with involuntary fervor into a psalm tune. The shadowy object put itself in motion. Ichabod now quickened his speed. Ichabod pulled up, thinking to lag behind, but the horseman did the same. As Ichabod was horror-struck on perceiving that the horseman was headless. He rained a shower of kicks upon his horse's gunpowder, and away they dashed. the place where Trombone's ghostly competitor had disappeared. If I could but reach that bridge, thought Nicole, I am safe. Just then, he heard the black scream. Close behind him. Then saw the goblin rising in his stirrups, in the very act of hurling his head at him. It encountered his cranium with a tremendous crash. Every scientific spine tingler features duality, it seems. Man and werewolf. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Or, most elementally, the human and the inhumane. As in these two facets, the societal and the molecular. Tonight, our own Michael Jones, with the Oak Lawn Band, explores these, from social ostracism to the elemental glow of the chemical, in Moon Dance.
Infection, I'm dealing with infection. Will this take long? Who said I could do this? I heard it was Attorney General Greg Abbott. You want to get out? Stand up. You'll have to leave. But why? I want to enjoy the show. But you look at the evidence. What evidence? I don't have evidence. I do. You do? What evidence do you have? You test positive. For what? Okay. Did all leave? Sorry, guys. We have to go.
don't leave. Where did you go? I'd really like to give you another round of applause. But also, I would like to thank Michael Jones and take a moment to recognize him in all that he has done. I mean, what can I say? Michael is probably one of the sweetest and most gentle, opinionated little divas that any of us knows. But honestly, I have greatly valued my time getting to know Michael. I've also valued him as a founding member of this group all the way from 1980. And as we celebrate our Oakland Band's 35th anniversary this year, it's really important that we look back and embrace the struggles through which people like Michael had to persevere, even just to consider starting a group like this. From performing in marching band, pep bands with Ligba across the country, and always jumping at an opportunity to entertain us with his flaming batons. Michael has touched so many of our lives with his unconventional, uniquely him routines. One story that sticks out in my mind is from a past member of the Oakland Band and also a member of one of our sister bands, the Houston Pride Band. And it's Kevin Taylor, and he sends his love. I don't know if he sent flowers too, but he definitely sends his love. Well, this is probably one of the cleaner stories that I've heard, so we'll actually go with that. The band was playing at some sort of outdoor event. I think it was in the parking lot of the Cave. Does anyone know what that is, the Cave? It's before my time. The band was playing Malagueña or some Spanish chart that's similar in style. But let me paint the Michael picture. He was dressed as a matador, I believe. You may remember all of this. With a 5-foot purple balloon with a bull face drawn on it, because that's what you do. And was performing with a tall, dark, and handsome gentleman, I think by the name of Cedric. Maybe. Do you not remember this gentleman? But who was dressed as a sort of butterfly in all white. But that's not it. It's just when the performance came to its final conclusion, there was a brief silence, and then one brave soul in the audience screamed out, "But what does it mean?" Michael, what does it mean? Do you have any wise words to give us what it means? Well, there you go. Each day I learn all sorts of new lessons, and I'm constantly fine-tuning my values simply by being in the presence of all of these folks behind me. But Michael, the resonating truth and pulse that I take away from you is to ever be fearless. To at times just say, "Here, Muffin, F the world." And I have to just be who I am. To take risks and to embrace the unknown. And I think that's what we do in this band every single day, regardless of what other people think. And thank you for leading by that example. Thank you so much for doing that. Just your long-time service and dedication, not only as a founding member of the band, but a dancer and a twirler with the pep band, with the marching band, the Oakland Band as a whole. We'd like to present you with this plaque and a gift. We may need a government injunction to get into this thing, but thank you for bearing with us. Oh! What does it mean? Where the heck did you pull that from? I feel like I'm teaching in the inner city school. At least you didn't pull it out your mouth or out a weed or something. I student taught in the inner city. That's all.